Yo! Video games.
What up, dudes? Matt here from YoVideogames, and I'm back with an exclusive hands-on preview of Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties, straight from Sega, that was presented recently at the Tokyo Game Show. But thanks to Sega being pretty cool, we were able to go hands-on with the Tokyo Game Show lineup here, and I was able to bring it to you, and I didn't have to travel all the way to Japan. So yeah, I got to go to a little hands-on preview event for this game. Got to spend some pretty good time with it. So yeah, I can jump right in and tell you. Now, Yakuza 3 is an interesting game because it's the first game that starts off with series mainstay Kazuma Kiryu as a owner or father, really, of an orphanage down in Okinawa. So it was kind of like the first big step out of the Kamurocho setting that dominated the first two games. And yeah, this was kind of an interesting one because it's kind of getting up there in age. It's 16 years old now, and yeah, there was definitely some gameplay quirks that had definitely been fixed in the later entries of the game. So it always made kind of going back to Yakuza 3 hard. Now, I was always warned. I started with 0, and then I played Kiwami 1, and I played through Kiwami 2, beat them completely. And then I just did the remaster of 3 and 4 and started into 5. And I actually didn't mind 3. I think 3's strengths were really in the sort of change of pace and setting and some of the just the general vibe that really changed and shifted tone as orphanage best dad Kiryu. And the nice thing about Kiwami 3 is that as we've seen from their footage, like, this is actually going to be greatly expanded upon. So there's a whole like dad life sim orphanage thing, more to do with the raising animals, growing crops, catching bugs, fishing, and dealing with like each and all the different kids' personalities is more hands-on. Now 3 already had some pretty great side quests and stuff, and some really good emotional, hard-hitting stories just with the orphanage kids alone. And as Sega's told me, yeah, like, that's all pretty much gonna stay. So the big thing though that kind of was infamous, if there's anything that was infamous about Yakuza 3, it was that the battle system was pretty old and getting pretty rusty. And that's all been completely changed in Yakuza Kiwami 3. So you have a more evolved version of the Like a Dragon fighting style that is traditional to Kiryu, but he also has Ryukyu style. So, the native people of the Okinawan Islands, the Ryukyu Islanders, like, they have a unique fighting style that's in this game, which is basically weapon-based fighter. So Kiryu turns into a Soul Calibur character, and it's actually a really fun mechanic because you have your light attack, your heavy attacks, your grab attacks, and all of them change on Ryukyu style. So you might be fighting with like a knife and a pot lid, or a big like cooking pot. You might be fighting with a big old paddle. You might be fighting with all nunchucks or all kinds of weapons, and it changes. There's about 8 different types of weapons, and they change whether you're tapping square, holding square, tapping triangle, holding triangle, and tapping circle or holding circle. So you get 6 right off the rip right there, and then like other things will change as well, like other heat gauges, whatever. You might bring out other moves. So Kiryu will basically be in a weapon fighter stance at all times. So if you're always one of those people like, man, I really like running around with a golf club or a baseball bat, and I hate the fact that they break. They're only meant to be like pick up and use them for a few hits, like a fighting, like like an old beat 'em up. This style is actually going to feel great because, you get that extra reach, especially with when you're pressing triangle and using the paddle or whatever, or using the heavy circle attack where he's swinging around the chain and stuff. So you're actually going to get just a much more fun battle system. And then, of course, this is based off the internal Like a Dragon engine and the Dragon engine as it is. And it just, obviously looks way better. Like, the blues are much bluer. We're getting much closer to that Sega blue sky. And, of course, there's a bunch of new cutscenes as well as they talked about as well. And, yeah, this basically just makes Yakuza 3, like, so much better. In fact, I would say, going by just how it is presented now, if you're, say, starting with 0 or 0 Director's Cut, And then you play through Kiwami 1 and 2 and 3. This was probably, in all likelihood, going to end up being better than Kiwami 1 even with Majima everywhere in that game, which is still fun. And, I did play, those games on the Switch 2 version. I'll get to that in another video. But, yeah, like the big mainstay here is that added quests, added cutscenes, added and changed, interestingly enough, story elements, and then a bunch of new gameplay stuff, and then especially the battle system. The battle system has just been completely overhauled top to bottom. You also have like a whole costume changing ability was kind of seen in later games with like Yakuza 8 and I think 7 and definitely in Yakuza Pirate. So you can actually dress Kiryu up in a whole bunch of different styles in Kiwami 3, and that's really fun. And he's even got this sort of like almost, I'd call it Mad Max style version, of a Segway that runs on like a lawnmower engine. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. And of course you still have you have like the cell phone customization that's added now where you can put little stickers on your little flip phone from 2009. It's just a very well thought out, well done game. As far as like what is new as far as new areas or anything, I couldn't really tell much. Again, my time was limited in the demo. I was really only able to run around the sort of main downtown Okinawa area from the original 3, but just looking much, much better. I really wanted to go and see, what had possibly changed in the beach in front of the orphanage, but alas, that was not part of the time. And now I did get to play a little bit of Dark Ties, which, you take the role of Mine, one of the villains from Yakuza 3, and you get to do his whole backstory with him and how he rose up the ranks of the Yakuza of the Toho clan. And I believe that one, at least in the demo I played, and I believe it's true of most of the game. It takes place just in Kamurocho, and he has a very unique fighting style. He has a very boxer. If you're a Tekken player, he's like Steve Fox, or he's like Brad from Virtua Fighter. He's got a very like shadow boxer style. And the other fun thing with him is that in his combat, you can jump on, like you put a big old, jump 1 foot right into the chest of an opponent, and you jump off and punch another opponent. And it's a really fun, really weird mix-up style, but it takes a little bit of getting used to. It's not very automatic. You're not gonna like magnetize to everyone. You still kind of have to. When you jump off an enemy, you kind of have to position yourself and set it up. So, like, you press circle to jump on an enemy, and when you're jumping off, you press square once you landed on someone, and you jump off and hit someone else. You can press triangle so you can jump up on a person and then just come down and smack the person you jumped on. And then you can jump off and jump into like a flying grab. And that one's a little hard to do. And yeah, you're probably going to like fall on your face on the ground like I did a few times going into it. But either way, this one's probably a little bit more enticing for those who are already too familiar with Yakuza 3 because it is a whole ass new game. Like, they're treating it as a separate game. And here's the really fun, cool thing. You can just swap to the game at any point. You just pause the game and just go down to a menu that says switch to Dark Ties. Just go right to Dark Ties. You don't even have to go back to the menu. It's pretty neat. Now, there's not really these stories are not happening concurrently, so it's not like, oh, see, what's going on with Kiryu, what's going on with Mine. It's not at the same time. It's not in the same place. It's a prequel. It's a brand new story set before Yakuza 3. With a completely new fighting style. He also has a devil trigger mode, which is pretty fun. To activate it, you hold down the R2 button, but you have levels of your devil trigger, so you have these hearts that fill up, and when you fill up a whole heart from fighting or whatever, you're able to unlock your devil trigger for a certain amount of time. The more hearts you fill up, the more the longer you're able to stay in your, I forget what the exact mode is, but it's like dark, his like Dark Hado is whatever, his like evil mode. And so you have to, now when you activate it, say you want to activate 3 hearts, you could do triple. You have to hold it down. You have to sit there and like Goku power up. But what it gives you is a completely unique, not completely, but like a much more unique move set. So if you like power up to double or triple, when you're punching people with the triangle button, he'll like grab their heads and he'll run along the ground, dragging the back of their skull, across the pavement, and then he'll throw them. So his moves get more outlandish and more twisted the more devil trigger hearts you pop before you go into it. But it is a sort of risk reward where you have to hold down and power up. You have to go Super Saiyan level 1, 2, 3 after you built the meter for it. It's cool. It's fun. It's definitely going to be the most interesting thing. Again, if you're familiar with Yakuza 3, if you've played it recently, or you're just sort of like replayed it a lot, Dark Ties is probably what you're going to want to jump into first because it's brand new content, brand new cutscenes, brand new fighting style, and a completely new look at the underworld of Yakuza. Plus, you get to hear Mine do a karaoke. So, yeah, it's just a different, it's just a whole different experience entirely. So, all that being said, yeah, this is actually pretty cool because it's like getting, you know, Man Who Erased His Name put into a Kiwami. From what they were saying, this is bigger than, say, Majima's storyline that was added in Yakuza Kiwami 2. And I really loved the addition of the Yakuza Kiwami 2 story mode for Majima. I thought that added a lot, and this is even bigger than that. This is actually closer to the size of Man Who Erased His Name. So yeah, you're kind of getting like almost two games in one here, and you kind of are. So because Yakuza 3 was actually on its own, was not a super long game, was actually kind of on the shorter side. Compared to, like, say, 4 and definitely 5, 6, and then 0 and some of the other games. So Kiwami 3 is actually going to do a lot to sort of fill out and really sort of make Okinawa a really dense, packed, you know, gameplay-rich area of the Yakuza world, the way that Kamurocho and Dotonbori were in the other games. So kind of really cool to see that here. Like, really going to see them flesh out Okinawa even more. And Okinawa is beautiful, so I'm always down for that. So, big thanks to Sega for having me come out and play this. This comes out in February. It's actually coming out on the Switch too, as well as PS4, PS5, and the Xbox Series X and S and PC. And yeah, I had a good time. And so let me know what you guys think. I'll see you on the channel later, dudes.